So hello and welcome to the Lewis Nichols Show, and I'm excited to bring on my next guest with an incredible new single just in time for the summer. So let's say hello to Conor Maynard. How are you?
I'm good. Hello. How are you?
Really good, thanks. Do you know what I just said to you before we come on? I'm loving the new single. I was sent it for the playlist, and it's just got that summer vibe. It's addictive. It's catchy. You must be really chuffed with the finished result.
No, definitely. I feel like the title of it, it sounds more depressing than actually is. Obviously, it's called Ain't Got No Friends, which is on first glance, it's like, Jesus Christ, is this guy right? But I think the actual feeling of the song is super uplifting, and I think that's why I quite like it, because the lyrics are kind of like borderline, like, oh, it's kind of confusing, a little bit sad, but then the feeling is so like uplifting. So I don't know, I find it interesting. So yeah.
That's what I found confusing, because when I was sent the song, I thought, okay, this is going to be like an acoustic kind of love song.
Yeah,
a bit deep.
Like, this guy's had a tough year and a half.
And then I listened to it, and it's got that contrast. It's just really addictive. It's catchy. So yeah, absolutely loving it. What's the reaction been like from people so far?
So far, really good. Yeah, people have been seemingly really enjoying it. The streams and stuff show that people seem to be liking it, which is great. I think that's exactly obviously what I hope for. So far so good.
Where did your love for music come from then? Did you kind of grow up around music with your family? Was that something?
Not massive. I mean, it's difficult to explain. So basically, my parents weren't all that musical. So my dad, when he was younger, was quite interested in singing and acting. He actually played Oliver in the West End when he was like really young. But by the time I was born, he had completely like stopped doing it, and he hasn't ever done it since. And he's actually a builder now, and yeah, as long as I've known him, has not done anything kind of really that nothing musical. And then my mum's dad, so my granddad on my mum's side, he was kind of in the entertainment industry to a certain degree. He was essentially like a triple threat, acting, singing, dancing, in some like kind of shows around where we grew up near Brighton. So there is like essences of like kind of that there, but like no one like through and through. So I don't know, but I definitely grew up very exposed to music. Like my parents loved listening to music and were big fans of music. So that played a big part of it, definitely.
I mean, because I was first aware of you, like many people, millions, of course, with Can't Say No. It just catapulted you to this new level of fame. And I know you were huge on YouTube prior to that, but I mean, in regards to mainstream, it really did just set the world on fire. How did you cope being so young to have that level of fame and attention? Because it was a whirlwind. I remember just everywhere you were. It was crazy.
Yeah. It was weird. I feel like it definitely felt more gradual for me than I guess than other, for someone kind of looking from the outside. Like, I feel like the way it worked for me was, I remember like, I was posting these things on YouTube, and I was starting to get a little bit of a name for myself online. And then I remember I kind of started building like a kind of a fan base in Brighton, where I was from, where people kind of started to know, oh, he's that guy that does those YouTube videos, and like people started to know me from that. And then, as you said, Can't Say No came out, the kind of mainstream, the more mainstream, I guess, fame started to come with it. And then, but it was also like, I remember like, it was also ages came at different times. I remember like, there was a period of time, I think when Can't Say No just come out, where it was like, I knew if I walked past a group of like 14 to 15-year-old girls, they would know who I am. But their parents would have no idea. Their like older siblings would have no idea. It was like very like that age, like that kind of teenage girl age, would never know. And then when Turn Around came out, which was featuring Nia, I remember that kind of shifted a bit, where older people started to know, where I'd walk into like a bar or something, and then everyone there would know who I was, and it was like different demographics came in at different points. Yeah. I remember how that kind of panned out, and it was super interesting to see like, oh, now this age seems to know who I am. Oh, now this age seems to know who I am, kind of thing. So it was It was weird, but you know, it's almost like, feels like it was so long ago. I don't really remember. Like, I don't really remember what that feeling was like where I started to notice it. But yeah, it definitely is odd. It is odd. Even to this day, it's odd.
Yeah, I just remember because your music was when I was going out clubbing, that was in every club. And I always felt cool singing your songs because you were the only guy that I knew every word to, and you kind of felt a bit of a cool rapper for knowing the words to "Are You Crazy?" And yeah, you made me feel cool when I was younger, which yeah, I felt proper like a bit of a.
Real. I hope I helped you out in many situations. I hope you impressed all your friends and lots of ladies while you're out. I hope
Another thing, because there was a break, you know, in regards to mainstream and chart music from you. I know you were still doing your YouTube, but there was a break for a few years. And then when I heard the cover of Whenever, Shakira's song, as soon as I heard the voice, that's all I needed, because you've got such a distinctive, it really is incredible soft tone of the voice. And I heard it and I knew it was you straight away. So how did that opportunity come about for you?
So well, I think that was the second time I worked with the Crisscross guys. We did one single before that called Are You Sure? And yeah, they just approached my team and said we'd love to use Conor for a track, and we've actually done I think 4 tracks together now. I think I'm right. I think it's 4 tracks. But and other ones that have never been released. But like, yeah, it was. I think they kind of had the same, you know, opinion that you just said. I feel like they were like, oh yeah, like he's got a distinctive voice. We kind of want him on one of our tracks. And obviously we were like 100%, let's do it. And they sent us the song and it was great. And with Whenever, I remember they sent it over and I was like, yeah, this is amazing. I'd love to be on it. So I recorded my part, sent it over to them. And it just went from there. I remember that weirdly. I remember the video. It was shot in different places. So they shot their parts. I actually have no idea where they were when they shot their parts. But then I shot my parts in Florida because that's where I was at the time. So yeah, I just shot my part. I was actually very near Tampa, I believe. I was near Tampa, and I was just out there. So they basically hired a local camera guy to film me like just performing the song in random parts of Tampa, and that's what ended up being the music video. So yeah.
And I know you're probably asked this question all the time, and I don't want it to be repetitive for you, but in regards to a new album, I know your debut album just was incredible. It did so well, and I know there's been a lot of anticipation for your next one. With the single out now, are there plans in the coming months or year for a new album?
No, definitely. I think that, you know, I feel like for me, the way that in which people release music now is so different, and I think for me personally, like, I've just become independent, so I'm now kind of releasing music independently, which is like so like liberating for me, and it's as amazing as it is, it's definitely like it's new, you know, it's almost uncharted waters. It's very new for me, and it's kind of, I'm trying to navigate my way through exactly how I want to do it. And I think for me, an album comes at the point where I feel like, right, I've released a song that's connected to a certain degree, and I feel like it's captivated enough people where I'm like, right, cool, let's keep going with that, and then the album would follow. I think that I wouldn't want to release an album like kind of too early, where I feel like, you know, a lot of artists will always say, oh, you know, I make music for the art, I don't care if people listen to it. It's like, no, you care if people listen to it. Everyone cares. They want people to hear it, and they want people to enjoy it. That's why it's called entertainment. And I think for me, you know, I want to make sure that when I release the album, you know, everyone gets to hear it and hopefully enjoys it. So I'm kind of waiting for the right moment, really.
And you mentioned there, in regards to being independent and talking to you about your single at the beginning, your passion just shines through. So do you feel now you've really got the chance as an artist to show people who you are, what you're about, and have that freedom to do whatever you want, the fact that it is independent?
Yeah, definitely. I think that, you know, it felt like a long time coming. It took me 5 years of like just legal stuff to become independent, and it was so difficult to finally get there. And it was kind of that, it was such typical timing as well. Like, I remember, I think the week I signed the document to basically say I'm free, I'm an independent artist, I think 2 weeks later we went into the first lockdown. So it was literally like, it was like, oh my God. I remember, like I said, like, yeah, it was just really, really difficult. And I just think that, obviously then that was a whole new thing to get used to. But I think now that as things are easing back into normality, it's like, right, I want to have a real kind of crack at, you know, reaching the goals I want to reach as an independent artist. There are other artists that I believe that AJ Tracy is somewhat independent. I think he's through a distribution deal or something, but he's absolutely smashing it. So it is doable. I feel like it's a lot more work for me, but I'm ready for it, because yeah, as you said, like it literally is my passion. It's what I want to do. So I'll just keep at it.
And I mean, some years ago we saw your brother, of course, take part in the jungle. Is that something you would ever do? Because, or Strictly? I mean, I could see you smashing Strictly, you know.
It's like, yeah, I mean, I get asked that a lot as well. I think, I don't know. I feel like with reality, you know, as far as reality TV goes, maybe further down the line, but I think as of right now is I really enjoy kind of just the control that I think, you know, with me, like, with all my social media accounts, whether it be YouTube or Instagram, blah, blah, you know, a lot of people take for granted, like how kind of much of a blessing is that when you have that full creative control. The second you step into reality TV, it's kind of not in your hands anymore. And I always have this like massive fear that, you know, I can be myself as much as I want. And you know, I like to think that I'm like a decent person, but I feel like the problem is once it's in the hands of producers, if they suddenly decide, right, let's make him the villain, then it's like, oh my God, that's like, I don't like the idea of not having that control. And I just feel like maybe further down the line, but as of right now, I definitely prefer the way I work now, which is kind of, you know, I control like kind of all avenues when it comes to like my own career. And I think that it will be like that for the foreseeable future. So yeah.
And you know, you've got an incredible talent, because you get some artists that, you know, you have a couple of years where it's huge and you enjoy that moment, and then it kind of fizzles out. But for you, you're just growing and growing. And you look at your YouTube videos, every single video you put out, just you have that such a loyal fan base. You get millions and millions of views, and rightly so. And I'm really excited to see where this single goes for you, because it's one of the best tracks I've heard this year, and I think it's going to do incredibly well. So thank you so much for taking time today.
No, all good. No, thank you for having me.
Thanks for making me cool when I was younger as well.
All good, man. All good. I'm glad I could help.
That's brilliant.